Hello, my artist friends. Welcome to Imagination Draw Along. I'm Aunt Dewey. Thank you for drawing with me today. Today I want to draw an aquarium, which is like a big rectangle fish bowl with a couple of fish and other critters, and one critter that you get to make up on your own. I'm going to draw the aquarium first, which is basically a rectangle box that's totally clear and it holds all my fish. So I'm drawing along the edges of the paper, leaving just a tiny bit of room at the top so that I have a place to drop the fish food. And I'm drawing all along the outside, almost like I'm framing my paper. And since the whole paper is going to be the aquarium, I'm going to have plenty of room for fish and other little guys. I'm going to draw my first fish up in the upper corner of my aquarium, so it looks like he's swimming all around. And this one's going to be a classic goldfish. So this fish is shaped kind of like an American football. And I specified American football so I could say hi to the folks in New Zealand and Sweden and England. Hello. So yes, this goldfish is shaped like an American football, and he has some wavy little fins on his side and on his tail. And I'm gonna give him some nice big eyes. Fish always have these big, bulgy eyeballs. Very round. And one of my favorite parts of the goldfish is his fluffy fish lips. So I'm gonna give him a bulgy top lip and a bulgy bottom lip, and it almost looks like his mouth is the top half of a heart, or the letter B. Or a backwards letter B, depending on which way your fish is pointing. If you're using colors today, either on paper or in your imagination, goldfish are usually orange. It's kind of funny that they're named after a different color. But since there's no wrong way to do art, you can color this goldfish gold, orange, tie-dye. It's totally up to you. And I'll add a couple of little scales for details. So that's just some bumpy lines, like little humps across my fish. And the scales are there to help the fish stay protected but be able to move easily. My next fish, I'll draw on the opposite corner. I'm going to draw a clownfish. Clownfish don't look like real clowns like from circuses. The most famous clownfish I can think of is Nemo from Finding Nemo and his dad. So I'm going to draw this clownfish with a body that's a little bit longer than the goldfish. And if you're doing accurate colors, this clownfish is orange and gold and black. But if you're using whatever colors your imagination wants, then this fish is those colors. If you want to show me what colors you used, you can ask an adult to submit your picture to imaginationdrawalong.com, and I'll post it on the website if you want. So I'm drawing my black, orange, and white stripes on my clownfish. And this fish's fins tend to be all orange with a black stripe along the edge. And this fish doesn't have puffy lips. He has a wide mouth that makes him look a little bit sad. The corners of his mouth kind of droop. But I hope he's not sad. The next organism that I want to draw is called a blue dream shrimp. This is a shrimp who's blue. So a shrimp is not a fish. In fact, a shrimp kind of looks like a bug who lives underwater, almost like a grasshopper, or like a little tiny lobster. So I'm going to draw him walking along the bottom of the aquarium, and I'm going to give him a little round head and some big bug eyes. He has antennae like a bug, and he doesn't exactly have a neck. His head just kind of keeps going until it becomes his body. And his body, if you think of a cockroach or a fly or even a bumblebee, is kind of flat on the back, and his belly is a little bit round. So he's shaped like the letter D. Using a lot of letter shapes today. And then he has a tail like a regular fish or a dolphin tail. And he is bright blue. A shrimp is an important part of an aquarium because he helps keep the tank clean very naturally. He eats up extra fish food and algae. He loves all the tiny bites he can take. Let's draw another cleanup critter. This time, a snail. And I'm gonna draw my snail crawling up the side of my aquarium. He can stick to the sides, so I think I'll draw him in kind of a silly location. A snail is like a slug with a shell on his back that he can live in. And these shells are kind of swirly. If I were a slug, I would want to become a snail because I love hiding. Anyway, I'm drawing a little slug head that I guess looks kind of like a worm, but with some antenna with googly eyes on the end. Their shells are so cool. They're super swirly and very colorful. If you're using lots of colors on paper or in your imagination, this is a great place to add them. But hey, maybe you have a minimalist snail. Snails move very slowly, crawling along the tank or wherever they are to eat everything in their path as long as it's algae or dead plant matter. But they won't disturb living plants. That's what makes them a great addition to the aquarium. That reminds me, let's draw a quick underwater plant. There's one called a hornwort, which is such a silly word that it sounds like I made it up. But I didn't. A hornwort looks like a cluster of green stems like long grass that grow straight up from the bottom of the tank, and they also have soft bristles or needles like a pine tree. So first I drew some lines straight up, and now I'm just kind of crisscrossing them with straight lines across. Almost like how a ladder would have some spokes sticking out of it. Plants are a nice thing to have in an aquarium because it helps keep the water fresh, and also it gives the place a fish to hide. Fish like to hide instinctively. Fish like to hide when they feel a little bit stressed out. So fish and I have that in common. Take a look at your paper and find a good spot to make up your own fish or critter. I'm not going to give you very much direction on this part, but I will give you some inspiration. If you're not sure what to draw to make up your own critter, take a look around your paper. What are your favorite parts of each animal that you've drawn so far? Or plant? Maybe you can incorporate elements from each animal that we've drawn so far, and the plant. Or maybe you didn't like one of them very much. They don't have to be part of your critter. Another way you could approach it is think about your favorite way for the critter to get around. Will it scurry along the floor like the shrimp? Will it swim like the fish? Will it crawl all over the place like a snail? Or just sit there like the plant? Or hey, maybe it's a combination. That's the fun part when you get to use your imagination to do whatever you want. You can make it up, and there is no wrong way to do art. Take a moment to explore what your critter looks like. If you want to give it a face, maybe show how the critter is feeling on its face. And while you're having fun and being silly with that one, I want to turn quickly to the adults in the room and say thank you very much for tuning in, for pushing play on this show. It would help us out a lot if you share it with a friend, or give it a rating and review, or subscribe. That kind of thing helps the show get found. Earlier I mentioned that if your artist wants to show off their artwork, you can send it to me and I can display it on the website at imaginationdrawalong.com. Feel free to get in touch. Artists, how's your creative critter? Take the time you need to add any colors or details that you might want on your picture. When you're done, be sure to write your name on the lower right-hand corner, or your best first initial, or any scribble that reminds you that this is your paper, and you are proud that you took the time to draw it. Until we draw together again next time, I have some ideas that your imagination can wonder about. 1. We drew a lot of colorful critters today. Why do you think underwater critters are so colorful? 2. Fish like to hide sometimes, and people like to hide sometimes. Why? 3. If you wanted to make up something to draw, where could you find inspiration? 'Thank you so much for drawing with me today. I hope we draw together again soon.